Hello everyone. So about a week ago, LEGO revealed the new August Wave, and today I'm going to be giving it my quick input on each of them with a quick ranking. And for this ranking, I do want to be clear that for this, I'm just going to be looking at the sets themselves and the minifigures, and I'm not going to be accounting for prices in this particular instance, because of course if I did account for prices, we'd probably be looking at a very different list, because some of these prices are utterly ridiculous. And I should state for this video, I have decided to exclude the Ewok. That's just not a set that particularly excites me personally. I'm only actually going to be ranking sets that I'm interested in purchasing. Alright, let's move on to the ranking. Alright, starting off our list, in 7th place, I have the 327th Star Corps Battle Pack. This hurts me to do. The 327th are my personal favorite Legion. However, I don't really think I can justify placing it even higher with all of the limitations it has. Now, mainly it is so low for a couple reasons. Personally, I just don't think this set stands out compared to the rest of the sets. And on top of that, there's the price, which of course I'm not accounting for, but that might have influenced this choice a little bit. $45 is utterly ridiculous for what you're getting here. With the heavy hitters like the Turbo Tank and the MTT, it doesn't really have anything extraordinary that I'm looking for, but in comparison to the other Super Battle Packs, it also lacks contents there. Compared to the last one, it's lacking 2 more battle droids and a couple side builds that one had. This one just does not seem to have, especially for the higher price, and I just don't think I can justify placing it any higher than this, really. On top of that, the Clone Troopers themselves do have a few minor problems. I think the wastegapes is probably the biggest problem. They definitely needed those, and I could have also used some macro binoculars and the printing to be slightly more accurate on the helmet. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with this set, but I certainly will not be purchasing it for full price.
Huel, you happy?
Reasonably.
In 6th place, I'm putting the Force Burner Snowspeeder. Like the last set, I think this set suffers a lot from the fact it doesn't really stand out to me, especially from it being from a show that I have not watched because it is not released yet. I think what you get here is a pretty solid package. Particularly, I think the minifigures are excellent, even if they are characters that I don't particularly have any attachment to, and that new canopy piece is excellent. I cannot wait to see that used on future Snowspeeders. This just doesn't really have the allure to me personally, and I probably won't be picking this one up. Definitely not for full price, because this price is pretty abysmal as well.
Yes! Yes!
Coming in 5th place, I have Jango Fett's Starship. I think the build here is pretty great, despite being small relative to the UCS version that was released earlier this year. It's essentially a recolor of the 2020 Boba Fett model, which is fine, because that set was decent as it is. Although I do not own that set, so I cannot personally speak for its quality. In terms of the minifigures, I think Boba and Jango are pretty run-of-the-mill, but Lama Su is an excellent figure, and I might pick up the set just for him, or I'll buy him on the aftermarket.
Impressive. Most impressive.
Moving on to 4th place, I am placing the V19 Torn. This is a set that upon hearing about got me pretty hyped for. I think it more or less lived up to the hype. I first want to start with the minifigures, which is probably the best part of this set. These are pristine, in my opinion. The Obi-Wan is by far the best version we received. I would say a pretty much perfect minifigure. I'm loving the arm printing. The Ventress is also a solid upgrade, and an outfit I don't think we've seen in before, and I like the purple. I think that's a very good color choice. And lastly, I think the Phase 1 clone pilot is easily one of the best clones we've gotten in a while with that new helmet mold. The set itself is definitely not as good as the minifigures, but I think it still gets the job done. I think the flight mode looks fantastic, and I'm also pretty happy with the grounded mode, although I could have used maybe some longer wings or some landing gear to make it stand up a little higher and look a little better. I think it looks a little odd from some angles, but even though it is smaller than the previous version, this does not really bother me, and I think the set's gonna be great when I pick it up on August 1st. It also goes to mention that I think this is probably one of the more fairly priced sets, even though $65 is probably a little too much regardless of that.
We will watch your career with great interest.
Moving on to the top 3, I've chosen the UCS AT-ST. This is a set that does not personally excite me, but I cannot deny that this is another great entry into the UCS series. The build, I would say, is essentially flawless. The minifigure is decent, although I could have used some dual molding on the legs, but that's not really something that bothers me too much. Overall, I would say the set does exactly what it needs to, and that's all I really have to say.
Baba Gaboosh!
Alright, my runner-up is a bit of a controversial pick, and that's going to be the Republic Juggernaut. Now, I know, no, put your pitchforks away. This thing is very small, and I would definitely prefer it to be bigger. In fact, I think the next version of this set pretty much needs to be a UCS version. I think that would be almost a perfect set, but for this set, I think what it is, it looks excellent. I think this is by far the cleanest design we've got. If you look at the tires, the wheels rather, I think those look excellent, how they've redesigned them. I'm just really happy with the design. I think it's super sleek. The drawback to the set is that it is super small, and in some of the review footage I've seen, it seems that it's very fragile, which is not great for a playset. but I'm gonna have to see that when I get it in hand, which will not be on August 1st because this set price is ridiculous and I cannot justify spending $160 on this. But my favorite part of the set is 100% the minifigures. While I will not deny that Waste Cape should have been included here, these minifigures are still great to finally have for the first time. Ki-Adi-Mundi looks great once again, although I'm not too excited about him, but Bakar and the Galactic Marines really steal the show here. I'm pretty happy with the new mold for Bakar's helmet. I think it looks a little chubby in some areas, but I'm still pretty happy with it, and I think I'll be keeping it. And the Marines are basically perfect in their depiction. Super hyped to pick up this set, even if it's so expensive. Of course, in first place, we have the Separatist MTT. This set is so close to perfection. The build is immaculate and so much more sleek than the prior versions, especially the 2014 version, which I have myself, that is definitely rough in some areas. I mean, you've got the new printed dish for the first time, you got the revamped troop carrying platform, extra stats, so good all around. With the minifigures, the new Aayla Secura, bar a few minor inaccuracies with the lips, is pretty much perfect. The battle droids are, of course, good inclusions, although I could have used a couple more. The new commando droids are pretty good, even though I preferred the dark brown they were in previously, but I'm okay with the gunmetal gray here. And, of course, Commander Bly is here, and I'm definitely biased because the 327th is my favorite Legion and Bly is my favorite clone trooper. I'm super happy to be getting him here, even if the printing on the helmet is a little inaccurate. But I love the new brown they used here. I believe this is the dark umber color. I'm really glad they chose that color instead of the regular dark brown. I'm just super happy all around with this figure. And once I throw a waist cam on him, I think he'll be pretty much complete. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. I'm super excited for this summer wave, and I plan on doing some coverage of the sets once I get them in hand. That's all I have for now. Have a good one.